7.4, that the report from the Director of Recreation and Culture be received, and that staff is directed to apply for a donation to contribute towards renovation, option 1. Ms. Klug? Oh, I need to move her in a second. Acting Mayor Wanan, Councillor Flinoff, Ms. Klug.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So, yeah, basically we have a memorial skate park right now located at Kiwanis Park, and it's just it's in need of renovation. There's some safety concerns, lots of liability concerns, and the condition of the court itself that it's placed on, and the tennis court, is not in good condition. And so there's just a need to do something about that park, whether that being, as I listed the options of moving it to another place, because there's also a demand right now for something to do about that tennis court. So basically it all revolves around the tennis court location that it's in, and that there's just an opportunity to get corporate funding right now, and we just need direction on if this is something that park should be, the donation should be contributed to, or should be contributed to another youth project. But after kind of Mr. Golding and I inspected the park last fall, it's in dire need of some it needs to be addressed, and mainly because of the safety concerns that are present. So.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to make a comment about this. It's a shame that we've let a memorial park deteriorate to the condition it is in currently. A young man in this community who contributed to the sport has a facility in his name in this kind of condition is very disappointing. I spoke to Mr. Rob Lozier today about the skate park. I said that I was sorry to see it in the condition that it is in. He is hoping that we can move forward and improve the site. He is willing to work with the committee to have an area that youth can go to and enjoy their sport. It's unacceptable for this to be like this. We can do better. I'm hoping that with this possible donation that we can do that. I applaud the corporate sponsor for coming forward for our youth and community, and I'd like to thank them if all goes well. So, any other further comments? Councillor Flinoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of comments and a couple of questions. I've read over all the options, and I also want to agree about the status. I have firsthand knowledge of that park. When it was first built, it's in my backyard. It was used, and it was skateboarders, and it was families, and it was fantastic. In the last few years, I hate to say it, it's just a hangout. And it's not, you have that basketball court that got the city and everybody put a lot of work into that, and it's used for a basketball court. They got the splash park, it's used for that, and that is not used for a skateboard park anymore. I see it in my backyard. That being said, it does need an upgrade. My question is first for the youth baseball. Reading this report, you're saying we could put it into that ballpark, but it wouldn't affect the youth baseball because we have enough ballparks in town? Is that?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that's a option to move the park so that it would free the court up, so that the sport pickleball and tennis could be used there, while we potentially could build or construct either some kind of all-wheel park that's accessible for all youth and safe as well. But based on the hours that were pulled, there is about 3 hours a week that we see in rentals at that field, as well as the other Burley one, which is located behind Lourdes School, and it's the same amount, 3 hours. So it's twice a week we're seeing the field used, and so that it could be utilized more, or we could spend more time maintaining one and keeping it safe and playable, where we could use that property to kind of build a nice and do this park right is that option.
A follow-up? And this idea is, the more I think about it, I mean, it's a dual. You're going to look after the youth, but you're also looking after the retirees. because I see the popularity of pickleball. We have to share it with our Elliott Lake Tennis Club. We give up a court 2 or 3 times a week, and they're well deserved. These seniors move to town; they love their pickleball. They go to the curling club too, but we need more. We need more, and as long as would this still be called the Logier Skate Park and everything? Would keep the name?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that's the full intent for sure, and the corporate sponsor agreed with that as well. I think we'd have to recognize them at some point, but it would still be a memorial park. We just want to make sure that one, it's done safely. One, and two, it's done that it'll last a long time.
Yeah.
And 3, yeah, it's just done just properly in a proper location with the concerns of nature and everything, that it won't destroy the concrete and whatnot that's installed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Morissette?
Through you, Mr. Chair, for Ms. Kluk. If we go ahead with this, can this be done this year, or is it a long period to get this whole park done?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. This would be a summer 2024 project, just based on the timelines that I've been given from some of the kind of skate park or all-wheel park focused companies, just based on the time that they come in and they work with the community to design the park the way that the users want it. So there's a couple different phases of it, and based on the timeline and where we would be at now, that it would be a summer 2024 renovation. It'd be ready to be used by then.
Acting Mayor Wana?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So it says here that we have to apply for the donation. Is this a new program, or is this something the city's done previously?
Through you, Mr. Chair. This is it's just a corporate sponsor approached us saying that they'd like to help Elliott Lake and make right, and that they feel like it's Elliott Lake's time to receive this donation. It's just we still have to go through the formality of it, and we don't want to say it's a sure thing, but we've been made some promising commitments, but things change, and that's why I just don't want to say that it's a sold, but it's a great opportunity for us to at least seek.
And I'm just trying to get some more understanding. Do they have any parameters towards what it needs to go to? I mean, your third option here is the pool. I mean, that's something. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's pretty important to the community too, and yeah. It's going to be, well, we already know it's very pricey, so this could help in that too. Can this be split up into sections?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have spoke to them about both projects, and both projects they have approved and would be willing to, because it goes to their end goal, which is youth recreation facilities. I haven't asked about being split up. We could probably put that in an application, but this park alone, the upgrades and to see the return on investment and seek that, like, that's why that budget was set around 300 to 350 is what the professionals have kind of mentioned. Anything less, you're not really going to get what the money investment, the return of it all. It's basically, that's the kind of limit that you should put minimum towards to see that return on investment. Otherwise, especially if you go the concrete park route, it depends on what you're purchasing, and that could be sought after, but that's basically the budget limit usually to
okay.
That.
Thank you. No, my thinking this is, I'm just learning how this process works. Maybe Mr. Golding might be able to help with this question. If we take some of this money and use it as seed money for future or other requests or applications for money, do you know what I'm trying to get at? That maybe there is money out there to help with 2 projects and maybe have some more to get into this project or certain things?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, I understand what you're getting at, Mr. Wanan. It's I'm inclined to say that Mrs. Kluk has put forward the most rational course of action for funding, because I think it's a much stronger position to go to additional funders with an almost wholly funded project to make sure that you get subsequent approvals as you go through other programs. natural fits for this kind of project would be we'd approach the NOHFC and Trillium, and when they see a strong funding plan in place already, then getting that top-up money is that much easier. Whereas those partners are already great partners for the pool project as well, and in fact the NOHFC has encouraged me to come forward with that project as well. So the sense that I'm getting from that funder in particular is to keep approaching with good projects, and they will support. So that's far from a promise, but that's the messaging that I'm getting from Ontario staff.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Golding. So just, I guess my final comment is probably bring this to the council. We're still going to be deciding which one we're going to go for. Okay.
Councillor Flinoff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, so let's say we do this summer, the skateboard park. It's like, is rec and culture, or is that council's? Like, what are we going to do with it? Like, it is really not very usable anymore.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I would recommend that it isn't open, or some of those items are non-fixed, so I'm not sure. We haven't really looked into it or discussed. I don't know if there's another temporary location, but we don't want to invest much if we're already investing in one. So in the condition we saw it in this past fall, it was not safe, and I wouldn't recommend opening it until that's addressed. Yeah. I
agree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments or questions? So, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you.